Sometimes community leaders, they don't know what they know. They don't know the power of their expertise and how that insight and wisdom could really influence public policy in a major way.
I think the expertise and the intellectual capacity of CAPACD is really important, and the resources that an organization like CAPACD can bring to focus on those particular needs in the Asian American community are really valuable.
That's the most exciting part of my job, is when I get to travel and get to be implanted in one of those local communities for a day and see what's going on, how they've tackled issues, the ways that their organizations have grown, and the ways that they've really enhanced their community.
It was a willingness of all of us to share information and knowledge so we can help the newer, younger groups.
At the end of the day, if you're not building the technical expertise of, the management on the ground, or the neighborhood leaders on the ground, that they know how a project works, or the actual nonprofit program that is sustainable, then we're not building anything really.
It's not just what can CAPACD do for me, but also what is CAPACD, what role does it play in the larger community development kind of movement, right?
And just the recognition, having our leaders and the constituents and the clients and the neighborhood organizers, all of the people who make up National CAPACD's member groups at the local level, having them all realize how much influence and power they have and how much more they can have.
We're not creating leadership in our communities. We have leadership in our communities, right? And not only with the staff of our organizations, we have resident leaders, we have youth leaders, we have arts leaders. We have so much leadership that is in our communities that don't have an opportunity to exercise that leadership.
What's really great about National CAPACD and what it is, what it represents, how it works, is that I think as an entity, it's also about taking care of family, right? That it's not like just a bunch of people who do work in similar organizations getting together around the country to share ideas and whatnot. It's like a family reunion every time the board gets together or every time there's a convention.
Admittedly, part of the joy of CAPACD is seeing good folks and sharing struggles.
And I think it suggests to National CAPACD ways it could work to work with family, work with all these partner organizations around the country that is different than any other organization out there.
Whether I work in the queer American community and then also meet other people from different community, even though the language and then the culture, the food they eat, the thing they play with is very different. It's so different. But when you sit down and talk about some of the issues that affect me and my family, my community, like starting from school, housing, immigration, education, health, we are all connected.
That sense of ohana, that we are responsible for one another, that communal progress, communal decision making, communal approaches to challenges really serves the larger perspectives of families. I hope that we brought that.
When people advocate for their own communities, that's good stuff. But when people come together and go beyond their own community, that is what in church talk we call spiritual.
I think one of the great accomplishments is kind of like having a concept that you can build something even though you don't have anything.
You're going to be able to see people walking around the streets where people are taking care of each other. You're going to be able to see children running around in playgrounds. You're not going to see any homeless.
In the community centers of our homestead communities, seeing halau hula, a kumu, it would be seeing families helping each other build homes.
You know, the grandparents walking their grandkids in a very safe neighborhood.
In a neighborhood where people feel ownership of the neighborhood, where people know each other, they're engaged, they know what they have in common, they know what interests they share.
I would like to see more youth involved in the work and more youth understanding what's going on in their community.
We've been afforded the opportunity as Hawaiians from Hawaii, natives ourselves, that we really do our best in bringing an effort to the Pacific Islander voice in the API community.
Empowerment. That's what I hope to be able to be passed on. The passion to empower our communities to take control of their own destinies.
I think, you know, the next 10 years are going to be our greatest in a lot of ways. You know, we've done all the groundwork and now we're sort of there, we're ready.
To basically be the leading voice in Washington, D.C. on API, AAPI community development issues.
To be able to profile the accomplishment and then the contribution of the Asian American community.
In a time for change, this really comes at a really exciting time, especially in our nation's capital.
And we got to get cracking, and start taking advantage of the alignment of the stars.
Now's the time to really demonstrate what that coalition building, that team building that we've been involved in the last 8 years can do.
Freddie Mac supports capacity because we believe all voices should be at the table.
National capacity will play a significant role in helping us get members of Congress to understand the depth of housing discrimination in America.
1 decade is nothing. Check us out in 2 decades, man. Come on. Capacity, this is it. Our time has come.